Fall in love with the process and the results will follow. Bradley Whitford. Hello and welcome to day 3 of Tanim 5-Day Online Challenge. Hi, I am Deborah Lemuel, also known as Debbie, your artist mountain girl turned urban tita and composter next door. So I have started this challenge to help bring the beauty and bounty of nature in each and everyone's homes so that we get to truly understand why we really need to take care of nature, especially during these times. Please be reminded of the challenge guidelines in our Facebook group so that you can fully maximize your learning in this community. And before we begin, let me have a quick check-in. How are your seed habits? Are you enjoying your time and your place and your tunes while you're doing your commitment? Let me know in the comments below. For day 3, we will be talking about navigating through the process. Now, you already have stated your individual goals via PM or via the Facebook group, so thank you very much. I would like to provide the basic roadmap for your specific goal. I will cover all the 3 that I mentioned yesterday so that you can find your direction moving forward. Okay. Number 1 goal is reducing your household waste. Now, let me introduce you to the concept of the 5 R's. Yes, there's more than 3. There are actually 5, according to Bea Johnson, one of the pioneers of the zero waste movement. So, first step is to refuse. Especially for those freebies, especially if they are plastic, and especially if you don't need them, don't say yes to them anymore. Number 2 is to reduce and consume less. Again, connected to number 1, if you don't actually need it, why add it to the pile, right? And then number 3 is reuse. Things that are supposedly single use but actually have a second life, like clothes or maybe plastic containers that can be used as alternative potters, could actually be reused and be given their second lives and serve more purpose than how they were actually just designed. And then number 4 would be recycle. These include the paper, the metal, and other stuff that you can actually give to plastic banks or to recyclers like your friendly Jaryo Bote mga ngalakals. And then finally is to rot. All the biodegradables and compostables can be turned into useful fertilizer. So don't throw them away into the landfill. Might as well make use of them for your plants. Second goal is repurposing your trash. Yeah, so let me introduce you to the Ecobrick. So an Ecobrick is made up of washed and cut plastic put into a plastic bottle. And as you can try, or as I try to squeeze it in, it's actually as hard as an industrial material. So that's why it's also called a brick, is it can be used to make bigger things like maybe furniture or even houses. So this one is highly recommended, and the plastic banks also collect these. And if you do have your extra patch of land, this can be your divider for your plots. So multi-purpose, yeah. Make sure to wash and cut up those soft plastics before stuffing them in, and then make sure you really push the plastic in so that you can really stuff this out. Yeah, so it's that hard. If you are not a fan though of sneaking in some arm and ab workout stuffing in these plastic in the bottles, you can go directly to the plastic banks. These are some of the ones that I know. You can refer to them. They have different drop-off points, and they have other communities in the north, Midland, and also I'm not sure about the south, but you can check them out. Another way to repurpose your waste is to compost. Now, a lot of you actually approach this challenge thinking of the idea of composting and again, reusing your trash for the life of your plant. So there are 3 basic types of composting. Number 1 is the hot or aerobic type of composting, wherein you introduce oxygen to the process so that you can break down those biodegradable matter even faster. These are usually in the open areas or open pits, or maybe just having a pile and then bringing stuff in and then letting nature work its thing. Next would be the cold or the anaerobic process. This is where the bokashi method comes in. So aside from the actual bringing in the biodegradable stuff to the land, you ferment it first and use microbes to break down these biodegradable matter, and then you process them for a few weeks, and then you bring in them to the soil for further processing. This is good for small spaces and for closed spaces. And then finally, we have the vermicomposting, wherein you get to have pets. Yes, pets that eat up your scraps and then poop it out into gold. Yes, why gold? Because it's very precious for your plants. Once they poop it out, you can actually sell the vermicast or the poopings of those worms, and then or use them for your plants. Finally, the goal of growing something small and simple. For this goal, I will talk about several things. Number one is your actual plant. So you can start with seeds, seedlings or cuttings, or your grocery veggies. Now for seeds, I highly recommend that you get them from your local growers instead of the grocery, because sometimes the grocery seeds don't really work based on experience. And if you get it from your local grower, number one, you get to have a new friend. And then you also get tips from that local grower, and you support the local economy. So hitting 3 birds with 1 seed, right? Am I right? Am I right? Yeah. So the second one, if you're not a fan of waiting too long for something to sprout out of the ground, you can easily buy seedlings or cuttings. That way you save time and resources, especially water. And then you already have your actual plant. You already know what it is because it looks like what you want to see. The thing is, you just have to take care of it, repot it, and then just let it grow. And then finally is your grocery veggies or your market veggies. I actually recommend that you go for your local markets. Just be safe, wear mask and face shield when you buy in your local markets. So for grocery veggies, it's just a matter of leaving the base of your greens so that you can put them in a jar with water and then let them root again, or you can plant them directly on soil, like for the case of some root crops like old potatoes or old onions. And also for onion chives, those after you cut them out and then put them in your food, you can simply put them in soil and then water them. See how they grow in just a few days. Then you can cut them off again, and then you have your forever supply of onion chives. That's also applicable to pechay, lettuce, and lots of other greens. You can also have sprouts like mungo. So it's either you want mungo or toge. For toge, again, you just put them in a water-based container, cover them up, and then in a few days, you have your sprouts ready to eat. Another one is the DIY or do-it-yourself process. Now, I may sound like a broken record when I say that it's still about building small daily habits of practicing, learning, and sharing. Like being able to just clean up, or maybe sprouting some seed, or maybe even sharing the extra plants that you have to a neighbor who doesn't have the plants that you have. If there's anything that I wish for you to leave with after this challenge is this: build small habits. This aspect of personal growth is very important because it builds self-reliance and self-sufficiency. You not only get to grow your own nutritious, good quality food, but you also lessen the demand for fast, mindless consumption that is actually very disconnected to what nature can and only can offer. We demand too much because we feel that we could just get anything from the store, but we don't realize that these things have other process behind them, or other people being exploited, or other resources being exploited just for you to get that on the shelf in your grocery store. So if you know how to plant, or if you are mindful with what you're doing, you get to understand how the process works and you get to value it more. Plus, you also get to be more in touch with yourself that is already actually connected to Mother Earth. Finally, for you to grow is for you to be able to place yourself in a good community. Again, I highly encourage you to search for the local sharing efforts within your community, wherever you are, the north, mid, or south. In Facebook, actually, you can find a lot of groups on recycling, repurposing, composting, and it's easy to be part of those groups as long as your intentions are really clear for you. You will be finding lots of valuable learnings and insights and experiences from those groups. So why is this considered part of growing small? Well, to simply put it, start where you're at. Don't start from a very ambitious point and then just trickle down because you got overwhelmed. But really start where you are and find the people who think the same way, like how you join this community. We all consider ourselves as like-minded individuals, and we are willing to share what we have, and we are willing to work from each other and with each other. And so a community really helps. Sustainability is not a one-man thing. It's actually a mindful community effort. For all the things mentioned, there are actually overlaps in the details of each and every goal. And that's the beauty of it. When you start to learn one, you get to discover that it's related to another. And that's how nature works, right? Everything is connected. Sabi nga ni Joey Ayala, lahat ng bagay ay magkaugnay. So let's go with the flow, shall we? For your action steps, we have 3 things. Number 1 is to identify the keywords in our 5 R's concept. The more you write it, the more you recall it, the more you become part of it. Number 2, for your seed goal and what has been discussed today, write down what you learned. Basically, that's it. Sometimes you just have to write it down so that you can remember it again tomorrow. Finally, to build accountability and to challenge yourself to a no turning back phase, make a post or maybe shoot a live video or make a Facebook or IG story declaring your seed goals. Yes, now it's time to tell the world what you opt to do so that a lot of people will be aware that you are part of that change that you want to see in the world. Don't forget to tag me at deborahlemuel.ph and use the hashtags Tanim Challenge and Seed Goal so that I can monitor also your progress and cheer on your side. So today we covered a lot, quite chunky, but I know you appreciate a lot of content. So I hope you got something or a lot of things. So just to summarize, we gave a quick review of our challenge guidelines, and then I also gave you a quick check-in of how your seed habits are doing. I hope you are doing them. And then the concept of 5 R's by Bea Johnson. And then we also talked about Ecobricks and plastic banks, the different basic types of composting, how to grow your plants, skills, and community, and finally, your action steps for today. So the mini worksheet will be provided for you in our Facebook group. So again, I hope you got a lot. I hope you're still doing it, and I am very glad to have shared this all with you. If you have questions, comments, or suggestions, please leave them down in the comment section below. And until then, I'll see you again tomorrow. Bye!